Hi, welcome to Yaya's video.
Welcome to Lala's video. This week, Mommy's at the Tortuga Music Festival on Fort Lauderdale Beach. I think that's what they call it. So I have a helper. So nothing fancy, no hair, no makeup, right? We're just plain old girls making videos. So we're going to get you right into it, and we hope you enjoy. I'm creating another page for my collage book, and normally I have a hard time cutting up good books, but someone gave me this book of South Africa with beautiful photos in it, and the book was already damaged. So I found a few things that I've already cut out, and I really wanted to do this collage for a long time, and I chose this page and one next to it for the background. I wanted something different for the sky. You'll see why in a little bit. But I found this school of fish. I think it's mullet. I hope I'm right. My husband fishes. I found this school of mullet to use for the sky. As I'm gluing this down, I realized that some of the things that I cut out to put in this collage, I want to tuck into the hillsides, and I really don't know how I'm going to do that at this point, because you can't glue it down and then tuck it in. I guess I could always cut that part off as if it were behind the hillside, but I wanted to tuck it in. So I decided to just tape it down while I lay everything out. This is one of the things that I found that gave me the idea for this collage. I thought, a giant teacup. What can I do with that? So you'll see. And of course, my granddaughter decided that it needs to have an octopus in it. I totally agree. But I couldn't find an octopus that I liked until I saw this one. And it's a crocheted or knitted. I don't know anything about crocheting and knitting. I don't have the patience for that. But I thought this would be great. It's a surreal collage, so why not have a giant crocheted octopus coming up over the hills? So there it is. I wish that it would have been a little bit of a lighter color because it's hard to see, but I kind of fixed that in the end. So you see I'm tucking it in at this point, and I'm still thinking, how am I going to glue this down? You'll see as I do start gluing things down, it was quite awkward and a couple of pieces wrinkled, but it's all good. As I do more and more of these, I'm sure I'll come up with better ways of doing it, and of course I'll share it with you. I held on to this shark and teacup for the longest time, wanting to put it into a collage. I'm hoping that I go back through my magazines and find another teacup and shark, because I'd really like to do this collage over again better. So I'll see if I can go and find another teacup and shark. It's funny when you're creating something like this, the story that evolves in your head. And I'm thinking how cool it is that these giant people are watching this giant octopus, shark, lion. There's going to be a giraffe in there here soon, going to a tea party in the hills. And I'm imagining that these people were on this cruise ship and that this is one of the stops that the cruise ship makes. This is the story in my head. However, you'll see towards the end that my granddaughter had a whole different story in her head, and it's quite disturbing. Children say the darndest things. Who's seen that show from the 1950s? Kids Say the Darndest Things, hosted by Art Linkletter. I'm not old enough to have watched it the first time, but I do remember watching some of the shows at some point when I was younger, and it is a really funny show. Anyway, if you're paying attention to what I'm doing, you see that that teacup was so difficult to glue down. It's a little bit wrinkled, but Because in this collage book, I seal everything in a coat of Mod Podge at the end, it doesn't really matter. And I kind of like the texture that you get in a collage when things are wrinkled up. I try not to get too many wrinkles in it, and maybe one day I'll learn how to do it with no wrinkles, but for now I'm learning and I'm not going to let a few wrinkles stop me from being creative. If you have some good tips about how to glue things down without the wrinkles, put them in the comments below so you can help us all out. That brings me to one of the reasons I wanted to start a YouTube channel, because it's so nice to go and share something with other people who are doing the same thing and learn from their experience. So you save a lot of time and get better so much faster. Plus, it's fun to make new friends, especially if they're doing the same things that you enjoy doing. Sometimes I get excited about a project that I'm working on and I start to tell my friends, and their eyes glaze over, and I could just imagine they're probably thinking, I have no idea what she's talking about. But it's so nice to talk about art and crafts and journaling and painting and collaging with people who actually know what you're talking about. So, to my friends, you're welcome. Now I can talk about my art with people who actually want to hear about my art. I'll spare you from now on. So, I want to give you an example of what I mean by creating collage art so that I can come up with sources for paintings on canvas. I'm going to move away from this collage as I glue it together for a moment, but we'll come back. This is one of the first collages that I created with the intention of transferring it to a canvas, and it ended up being one of my favorite collages. It might be my all-time favorite so far. You can see here I do a double page layout because I wanted to collect them and create a book. And here you see one side of that collage in front of the canvas that I transferred it to. I'll do a video soon and show you how I transfer my collages to canvas. And I'll show you this canvas when it's completed. But for now, back to our collage and our giant tea party. I didn't get this page glued on properly, so I took a chance to peel it back and reposition it, which thank goodness it worked. I've learned that if I use enough glue and spread it evenly, that I have a few seconds to peel things up and reposition them. I almost didn't do it, but the white line across the bottom that was left when I glued it down too high would have driven me crazy, and I didn't want to slice it off and have smaller pages in my collage book. So I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad it worked out. And now I'm gluing the octopus side down, which was extremely difficult with all those little pieces tucked in, but I got it done. On a side note, as I'm editing and doing the voiceover here, I'm noticing that there are a lot of inconsistencies in each piece that I record. So bear with me. I'm getting used to the routine here, and every time I create a video, I learn something new. I'm not stressing too much over the audio right now because I think it's not so bad, but I do want to get better at recording these and editing and putting together the videos like that. You hear the helicopter? I don't know if you can or not. It's rattling my windows. You're looking at what I thought was the final collage. I forgot the giraffe. That will show up here in a moment. And then I thought you can't really see some of the details, and I'm dying to get my pens out. So why not? I'm gonna do some outlining here and see if it helps a little bit, because the octopus just kind of blends into the background and I want to see him more. And since it's somewhat whimsical already, I don't think a little pen work would hurt. So we'll see what happens. Here's a good look at what it looks like before I take my pen to it. I think it came out pretty cool. I love the ones with stories behind them. Some of my favorite collages don't have the full background. I like to do things, if I'm going to do just a collage, I like some space around the design. But because some of these are going to end up on canvas, I have to fill up the whole canvas. So while I like this with the background behind it, I think that sometimes when there is a full page of a collage, things can get lost. So when I do things with space around the design, there's no need for this pen work. However, I love just losing myself in tracing and outlining and marking up a page. So this is a really fun part for me. I'm going to speed up this process for you a little bit so we can get to the end. And I can tell you what my granddaughter thought of the story behind this collage. I always ask her what she thinks about my artwork because I really enjoy listening to how her mind works. And in this case, she said, I don't know. It's kind of scary. Kind of scary? So I asked her to explain it to me. And crickets. So I went first and told my version of the story about how the people were on vacation and the cruise ship stopped so they could watch the event of the tea party happening, and that the octopus brought his dessert and the knife to cut it and even honey to go in his tea. Well, she had a different version. Do you see that?
I like it.
So he's carrying the knife to the tea party with the dessert. But what did you think?
He was telling, he was doing the building and tell all of the people they had.
Oh, okay, that is kind of creepy, I guess. We hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope it doesn't give you nightmares of giant octopus climbing over your house and through your window, right? So I'll give you an update on what's going on. We reached 50 subscribers this week, and I'm super excited. I know it's not much, but it means a lot to me. So thanks for your support, and we have lines, right? What are you going to say? Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.